Panel gaps, burning batteries, cheap interiors. Tesla clearly sucks at building cars, right? But then, how are they selling 2 million units per year and how the hell are they the most valuable car company? Are all buyers stupid, or does Tesla have something else? 1 month ago, Tesla released the first quarter earnings, but they show much more than boring finance numbers. They are changing the way they build everything, and I spent all this time studying what they are doing differently, what are they putting inside their cars today, and how is this going to change the way we move and the way we live. So let's take a look at the most bizarre car company, see what they execute well and what they clearly don't, and finally get a good idea of what the future holds for us. After seeing the first quarter earnings, anyone could think that the Tesla run finally stopped. As they had a decline in year-over-year revenue and profits, the market growth for electric vehicles is slowing down, and the higher interest rates makes it harder for a lot of people to afford an expensive car. But no, this didn't stop Tesla. The stock didn't even notice the bad news. In fact, it went up more than 10% during the next day. But why? Some will say that this is because even in these tougher times, Tesla is performing better than all other EV competitors. And they are right, at least partially. Tesla is the only car company in the West that sells electric cars for a profit, but there is much more than that. Even the growth of the energy products doesn't justify the optimism with the company. They are not building any new car factory this year. They didn't present any revolutionary vehicle, and the current cars are still far from perfect. So how is everyone jumping aboard Tesla right now? Has anything changed? If you have been paying attention to the Tesla news lately, you probably know the answer, but knowing it and understanding it are different things. The corner that Tesla seems to have turned is the same one as many other big companies want to do: artificial intelligence. But wait, this is something that they already had, right? Elon has been preaching for the past years that Tesla cars can drive themselves. Was everything a lie, or is he still lying now? Well, depends on who you ask. But what is clear is that the latest version of the full self-driving software is way better than anything that they had before. So let's see how they did it and what it means for this company and for other car manufacturers. Even though this newest autonomous software is the version number 12, it's way different from all other previous releases. This new update that has been rolling for the past months does not have any pre-programmed conditions. Instead, it has a set of neural networks that take videos from the cameras as the input and move the steering wheel and the pedals as the output. This may not seem anything revolutionary. Maybe you don't even know what it means, or on the contrary, maybe you think that this is something not that big. But believe me when I say it is. And who am I to say that, you may be wondering? Why should I listen to a guy with less than 200 subscribers that I just found on YouTube? Well, in the same way that you found me, you and I can find anything on the internet. All the knowledge is here. So there is no need to be a JP Morgan analyst to understand how everything works. So let's continue with the analysis. The previous versions of the software were full of manually programmed conditions, like if you see a red light, stop. But now, you only need to feed the computer with millions of videos of people driving properly, and the artificial intelligence will learn on its own, and will know how to drive without anyone having to teach it. What once was thousands of lines of code that for any new change needed to be revised, now is just some video processing algorithms that feed the neural networks and that deliver the outputs like it's magic. They can now iterate and make it better in a much simpler way than before. If there is an issue with a certain behavior, they only need to train the algorithm with some new videos and it will learn and correct any problem that it had. And this is massive. They are no longer constrained by their coding capabilities or by the fine-tuning of manual algorithms. The bottleneck now is the amount of video data that they have and the training capacity. And regarding this last point, it seems that they are investing a huge amount of resources to build one of the largest training computers in the world. Even Jensen Huang, the CEO of Nvidia, has said that Tesla is doing a great job on that front, and Nvidia is providing as many GPUs as they can to ensure that the AI capacity is not the limiting factor. But that's not all. During the past few years, and seeing how the demand for GPUs was rising as nothing had ever done before, Tesla invested on their own GPUs. They call them Dojo, and they are designed to fulfill their training needs. It's true that they haven't had any visible progress in that front for the past 2 years. But the latest news is that Taiwan Semiconductors is starting to mass produce the chips for the Dojo units, and they could increase by a lot the training capacity of Tesla in the future. But that's not the only ace up the sleeve that Tesla have. In fact, they have one more simple thing that will make it almost impossible for anyone else to catch up to them in the autonomy problem. The same thing that everyone wants and needs: data. Good quality data, to be precise. Let's see a comparison with other AIs to understand the importance of this data. To train ChatGPT or other large language models, we use what is basically the whole internet in text form. Every book, every blog, every web page with coherent text data that we can find, and we feed it into these gigantic models so that they can learn how to write. Apart from legal issues like they usually have at OpenAI with the origin of its training data, this is not very difficult. Anyone can generate a Python script that stores all the text data that it finds on the internet. Even with the models that aim to generate images or videos from text, the data for training is not that hard to get. You just need to store it and label it properly. But that's a very different problem while talking about driving data to train an AI. You don't only need the video data, you need the videos from the car and the actions taken by the driver. And you need millions of hours of good driving if you want to teach that to an artificial intelligence. That's the gold mine that Tesla has. They have millions of cars on the roads that are constantly recording their surroundings and recording the actions that the drivers take. Billions of hours of good video data that they can use to train these models. How is any other car company going to compete with that? They would need to sell millions of cars and equip them with cameras and the computers needed for all of this. How many years will it take until other car manufacturers have that many vehicles on the road generating this amount of data? If they haven't been able to do much simpler things like develop a compelling electric car or setting up a network of chargers, how are they supposed to face a much bigger problem like that? Even if all other companies merge and try to develop an autonomous driving software on their own, they would be years away and it would cost them many billions. It is way simpler and cheaper just to pay whatever Tesla asks for and go solve other problems. And if anyone thinks that they will be reticent to it, just think about the Tesla charging standard that all other companies ended up adopting, even if they didn't want to do it in the first place. That's the main reason that the Tesla shares went up 10% the day after the quarter earnings, because the company is fully focused on the AI and autonomy paths, and they are finally showing some progress on it. The latest FSD software is not a promise anymore. It drives better than most of the people on the road. The robotaxi launch date is less than 3 months away. They already have the factories, the people, and the knowledge to make it, and they are more focused than ever on accomplishing this goal. The Tesla investors and the market in general are finally believing the promises that the company has been making over the past years. And everyone is starting to catch up to the idea that Tesla is not only a car company or even an electrification company. It is an artificial intelligence company that works on electric cars. And they are just getting started. The next generation platform that will include the robotaxi will lower the cost of moving even more, and together with autonomy solved, they will transform cars into a new type of commodity. Cars will no longer be that precious thing that we love that much, and will start to become just like our phones, that we change them every few years and that are improving in every new model. Of course, there will always be some people that love to drive and that have their car collections, in the same way that some people today listen to vinyl music or love to ride a horse. But most of us will benefit from a cheaper way to move, while being way more secure and being able to do other things in the meantime. And if that is not enough, just wait until they start using this same artificial intelligence in the humanoid robots, and we can finally have a future that really looks like the future. If you like the video, please subscribe and leave a comment with any interesting thoughts that you may have, so that we can all learn from each other. As always, take care and learn more.